right, so today we're going to do a deep dive on the future of iPhone design. And our crystal ball is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Got tons of reviews, spec breakdowns, and some juicy rumors about the iPhone 17 and beyond.
The 16 Pro Max really does feel like a glimpse into the future, especially with some of those bold design choices Apple's making.
Okay, so first, that jumbo-sized screen, 6.9 inches.
Yeah.
Biggest they've ever put on an iPhone. Reviews are kind of split. Some people are all about that immersive experience. Others are saying it feels like they're carrying around a small tablet.
It's definitely a statement piece. What's interesting to me is how this plays into the rumors about the iPhone 17 Air, supposedly going to be ultra-thin, maybe even ditching all the ports, for a completely smooth design.
Look, you're on it. A phone that sleek, but with a screen pushing 7 inches?
It'd be like holding a sheet of glass.
Okay, that's making me picture some kind of sci-fi movie prop. But seriously,
Mm-hmm.
how much bigger can they realistically go before it just becomes impractical?
Right. And then there's the question of one-handed use. I know I'm not the only one who struggles to reach the top corner of my phone sometimes.
Totally. So it seems like Apple is betting that the trade-off for a truly immersive big screen experience is worth sacrificing some of that one-handed convenience. What do you think? Are they right?
It's hard to say for sure. I think it comes down to how people actually use their phones. Are we consuming more media on the go? Are we doing more work-related tasks on our phones? If so, a larger screen might actually make a lot of sense.
That's a good point. And speaking of shifting how we use our phones, let's talk about those new buttons Apple's been adding. The 16 Pro Max introduced the camera control button. Feels a lot like a DSLR shutter button. You can take pics, record video, zoom, even tweak settings, all with pressure and touch. Pretty wild.
And let's not forget the action button. That debuted on last year's Pro models and is now standard across the iPhone 16 lineup. It's like they're giving us back some tactile control. After years of just tapping and swiping on glass.
It's true. I'm really curious about where they're going with this. Is it just about making the phone feel more responsive? Or is it something bigger? Like, are they preparing us for some completely new way of interacting with our phones that we can't even imagine yet?
That's a fascinating question. There's been a lot of buzz about touchscreen fatigue lately, people feeling kind of over the whole swiping and tapping thing. Maybe these buttons are Apple's way of addressing that, giving us back some of that physical feedback we crave.
I could definitely see that. But what if it's even more forward-thinking than that? Remember all those rumors about Apple working on a mixed reality headset? Maybe these buttons are like training wheels, getting us used to interacting with tech in a more physical, tactile way before they unleash something even wilder on us.
Oh, that's an interesting angle. It would make sense, especially when you consider how Apple tends to roll out new technologies in stages. They introduced the Apple Watch, which felt pretty revolutionary at the time, but now it seems almost like a stepping stone to something even more integrated and immersive, like the rumored headset.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe those new buttons will even be how we control those holographic projections you were talking about earlier. Okay. I'm officially getting ahead of myself now.
Don't worry, I'm right there with you. It's fun to speculate, especially when Apple gives us these little hints and clues to work with.
All right, let's rein it back in for a minute and talk about some of the less flashy but equally important upgrades in the 16 Pro Max. Like, the battery life on this thing is insane, supposedly over 17 hours. And of course, they've got the new A18 Pro chip, which is packed with even more Apple Intelligence capabilities. But honestly, I think it's what Apple's doing with the software that's even more intriguing.
I totally agree. The hardware upgrades are impressive, but they're almost expected at this point. What really gets me excited is how Apple is focusing on crafting specific experiences, rather than just bragging about specs.
Okay, give me an example. What kind of experiences are we talking about?
We'll take the new audio mix feature, for example. It lets you adjust the sound in videos after you've already shot them, so you can isolate voices, minimize background noise, even create that studio sound effect. It's almost like a mini recording studio right in your pocket.
Whoa. I can see that being huge for aspiring filmmakers and content creators. It seems like Apple is really leaning into that whole empowering creators thing.
Absolutely. And it's not just about video. They've also made photographic styles way more customizable. Now you can fine-tune specific colors and tones in real time, giving you way more creative control over your photos. It's almost like they're trying to make iPhone photography less intimidating for people who want to go beyond just point and shoot.
That makes a lot of sense. They're making those pro-level features more accessible to everyone. It's like they're saying, hey, you don't need to be a professional photographer to take amazing photos, or a professional filmmaker to create awesome videos.
Right. And that ties into another feature I wanted to mention, the new visual intelligence feature in iOS 18.2. It basically turns your camera into an information hub. Point it at something. And it can identify landmarks, translate text, even tell you where to buy that cool jacket you saw someone wearing on the street.
That's wild. It's like having a built-in visual search engine.
Exactly. And I think it highlights how Apple is thinking about the iPhone camera as more than just a tool for taking pictures. It's becoming a way to interact with and understand the world around us.
Okay, my brain is officially buzzing with all these new features and possibilities. We've got jumbo screens, tactile buttons, and software that's pushing the boundaries of what a smartphone can do. I'm dying to hear what else those Apple insiders are whispering about. What does the rumor mill have in store for us?
Oh, don't you worry. We've got plenty more to unpack. Buckle up, because things are about to get even more interesting.
All right, bring it on.
Okay, so let's fire up that rumor mill, see what those Apple insiders are whispering about. Word on the street is the iPhone 17 Pro will probably stick with a 3-nanometer chip.
Hold on. Same size chip as the 16 Pro Max. What's the deal with that? Aren't they usually all about making those chips smaller and faster every year?
They are, and that's what makes this interesting. It could mean that Apple is holding back a major chip upgrade, maybe that 2-nanometer process we keep hearing about, for the iPhone 18. But here's the kicker. Rumors also suggest the 17 Pro will get a RAM boost to a whopping 12 gigabits.
Okay, so same size chip, but way more RAM. What's the logic there?
Well, think of it like this. The chip is the brain, and RAM is like the short-term memory. More RAM means the phone can juggle more tasks and processes at once without slowing down. 12 gigabits of RAM would definitely set the stage for some seriously demanding apps and features, maybe even those holographic projections we were fantasizing about.
All right, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. They're beefing up the RAM to pave the way for even more powerful software experiences down the line. What else have those leakers dug up?
We've also seen some leaked renders hinting at a redesigned dynamic island, possibly even smaller than the current one. And then there's the persistent rumor of under-display Face ID, which could be a game changer in terms of screen real estate.
Okay, break that down for me. The smaller dynamic island means even more screen, right?
Exactly. It's all about maximizing that display area. An under-display Face ID would be huge. It means they could ditch the notch or island altogether, giving you an almost completely uninterrupted screen. It's sleek, it's futuristic, it's very Apple.
So what does this all tell us about Apple's overall strategy? They're just throwing a bunch of cool features at the wall and seeing what sticks, or is there a more deliberate plan at play here?
I definitely think there's a method to their madness. What's fascinating to me is that Apple seems to be laying the groundwork for some pretty significant design changes in the coming years. They're experimenting with those new buttons, pushing the boundaries of screen size, and exploring technologies that could dramatically change how the iPhone looks and feels.
It's like they're setting the stage for a grand finale. But we don't know exactly what the final act will be.
Exactly. And that's what keeps us all on the edge of our seats year after year. They're constantly pushing the envelope, but they do it in a way that feels deliberate and well thought out. It's not just about being flashy. It's about solving problems and creating a better user experience.
You know, it's funny. They're kind of like master chess players. Always thinking several moves ahead. Remember when they got rid of the headphone jack?
Oh, I remember it well. It seemed like such a radical move at the time. But it ultimately paved the way for the wireless headphone revolution we're living in now.
And now practically every other phone maker has followed suit. It's like Apple has this knack for anticipating what we'll want before we even know we want it.
It's a classic Apple move. Make a bold change that seems crazy at first, but ends up pushing the entire industry forward. And I think we're seeing something similar happening with the design choices they're making with the 16 Pro Max.
So big picture, what's your takeaway from all this? Base screens, new buttons, whispers of a portless future, and a laser focus on software experiences. Where is Apple taking us with the iPhone?
I think they're envisioning an iPhone that's even more integrated into our lives. A device that's less about the hardware itself and more about the seamless experiences it enables. It's about blending the physical and digital worlds in a way that feels intuitive and almost indelible.
I like that. Blending the physical and digital world. It's like they're creating a digital extension of ourselves.
Yeah.
That we can carry around in our pockets.
Precisely. And I think a big part of that is moving away from relying solely on touchscreens, the new buttons, the potential for more advanced haptic feedback. It's all about adding those other layers of interaction that make the experience feel richer and more engaging.
That makes sense. It's like how a good book is more than just words on a page, or a good movie is more than just moving pictures. It's about creating an immersive experience that engages all of our senses.
Exactly. And speaking of immersive experiences, there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to talk about: the Vision Pro. Remember those rumors about the iPhone 17 Pro? Having a 48 megapixel telephoto lens specifically designed to work with the Vision Pro headset.
Ooh, yes, the Vision Pro connection. That opens up a whole new dimension to this conversation, doesn't it? It suggests that Apple isn't just thinking about the iPhone as a standalone device anymore, but as part of a larger ecosystem of interconnected products.
Right, so maybe the future of iPhone design isn't just about the phone itself. Maybe it's about how the phone interacts with and enhances our experiences with other Apple devices, like the
Wow.
Apple Watch, the AirPods, and now the Vision Pro.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. So we've got bigger screens, tactile buttons, whispers of a portless future, a deeper integration with software, and now a connection to the Vision Pro headset. Apple is really weaving an intricate web here, and I can't wait to see where they take us next.
I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a very exciting chapter in iPhone design, one where the lines between hardware and software become increasingly blurred, and our digital lives become even more seamlessly interwoven with our physical reality.
It's like we're on the verge of stepping into a whole new world, and the iPhone is going to be our passport.
I love that analogy. And who knows, maybe those holographic displays will even fit in our pockets someday.
Okay, now you're just teasing me. But seriously, I'm so excited to see what the future holds for the iPhone. This has been an incredible deep dive, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface. It's wild to think about how much the iPhone has evolved even in just the last few years, and it sounds like we're on the brink of even more radical changes.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the technology itself, it's how those advancements shape our habits, our culture, even our perceptions of the world.
So true. Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, is there anything else from our sources you think we should highlight? Any other nuggets of wisdom about the future of iPhone design?
One thing that struck me as we were talking is how Apple's design choices almost always spark debate. Remember the uproar when they got rid of the headphone jack?
Oh, yeah. The internet practically exploded. Everyone had an opinion.
But look at where we are now. Wireless headphones are the norm. And I think we'll see a similar pattern play out with some of these new design choices, whether it's the larger screen sizes or the move towards a portless future. There will be early adopters who embrace the change and those who resist it.
So you're saying we should expect some pushback, some initial resistance to change?
Absolutely. It's human nature to be a bit wary of the unknown. But I also think Apple has earned a certain level of trust from its users. They've proven time and again that they're not just making changes for the sake of change. There's usually a bigger vision behind it.
And whether you agree with their vision or not, you have to admit they're not afraid to take risks. And those risks often lead to some pretty amazing innovations.
Exactly. That willingness to experiment, to push the boundaries, is part of what makes Apple.
It's definitely one of the reasons why we keep coming back for more year after year. All right, so to wrap things up, I have to ask. After this deep dive into the iPhone 16 Pro Max and all the rumors swirling around, what stands out to you the most? What has you the most excited or intrigued about the future of the iPhone?
Honestly, it's the potential for a truly portless iPhone that really captures my imagination. Think about it, a device that's completely free of wires, that charges wirelessly and transfers data seamlessly through the air. That, to me, is a glimpse into the future of consumer tech.
I can see why that would be so appealing. No more fumbling with cables, no more worrying about port compatibility. It's just sleek and simple.
Exactly. But of course, the technology has to catch up to the vision. Wireless charging speeds need to improve, and data transfer rates need to be as fast and reliable as wired connections.
True, but knowing Apple, they wouldn't even be hinting at this unless they were confident they could pull it off.
You're probably right. And that's another thing I admire about Apple. They're not afraid to push the boundaries of what's possible. Even if it takes time for the technology to fully mature, they have a knack for setting those ambitious goals and then figuring out how to make them a reality.
Well, I, for one, am excited to see what they come up with next. This whole conversation has been a whirlwind of exciting possibilities. Jumbo screens, tactile buttons, seamless software experiences, a connection to the Vision Pro, and maybe even a portless future. It's almost too much to take in.
I know, it's mind-boggling to think about how far we've come and how much potential there is for the future. But I think that's what makes following the evolution of the iPhone so fascinating. It's a constant reminder that technology is constantly evolving, and who knows what incredible innovations are just around the corner.
So, to our listener out there, embrace the possibilities and get ready for a future where the iPhone might be unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Hmm.
Who knows, maybe those holographic displays will even fit in our pockets someday.
Anything is possible.
This has been another incredible deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning the world around you.